get started this morning. So, things that have popped up this morning. For some reason, a whole bunch of Chinese education stocks were coming up this morning. But pretty much all of them have pulled back the entirety of them. So EEIQ was one of these, where it went up like some ludicrous percentage. It was like a $5 stock, and it went up to $70. It's back down to $14 at this point, so it's still up nearly 300%, but probably pretty doubtful that it's going to come up anymore. GME had a crazy move yesterday, which I was not super expecting. Um, I left for work in this area, and I thought it was going to bounce off of. So it came up to 142, 143, bounced off of it, and started coming back down. I thought it was going to trend back down. So I didn't have any shares yesterday. So whoever did have shares, good for you. Went up quite a bit. Really good. A few other stocks popped up this morning. WAFU. Another one of these Chinese education stocks, I believe, but popped up and now has pulled back significantly. Yeah, I don't know what went on with these. I mean, the stock was $5. It went up to $37 over the course of 10 minutes. On fairly light volume. I mean, pushing like 70,000 shares, which is like not very much at all. So, yeah, I don't know what happened there. I believe same thing with FEDU, another one of these stocks that popped up on this China education pump. I don't even know what it is. NEXT though, not one of these education stocks. Let's see, Morgan Stanley announced a price target. Got a storage deal. Another company. So I guess there was a little bit of a catalyst on the NEXT, but it doesn't look like anything too exciting. CLEU, another China-based education stock. All went crazy this morning for some reason. All have pulled back significantly. We'll see if they come back up at some point, but I'm not gonna hold my breath waiting for that. Probably take a few of these off. We had HCDI coming up earlier, and also MKD. So those two on the watch. HCDI. Let's see. This is on earnings. They're coming up. Yeah. So they've come up a tiny bit. They were up 20% at one point, close to 25%, but now they've come back down to close to the bottom of their move. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that. MKD kind of not really doing much either. It came up earlier, and I thought it was gonna look okay. Like it popped up, at least on the 1 minute. Made a breakout, and I thought it was looking good above here, but the thing just pulled back entirely. Unfortunate. Looks like had recent highs that were pretty significantly higher than what it's at right now. So not really super surprising that it bumped off of some resistance coming up, went back down. We'll keep an eye on those too, but let's say I don't have super high hopes for either. GME, the other hand, there's like a good and bad things with GME. Obviously, it went up quite a lot yesterday. It's looking really, really, really strong. But if you look on like the hourly, or I guess 4 hourly, I'm looking at. Um, so last highest volume day, very large red day, right? So highest volume, not looking good. Um, Pulled back on fairly light volume the entire way down. So for a very long period of time, there was really no one buying up GME. And then yesterday it came up on very significant volume, but um, the amount of volume it took to come up to this $200 level was, close to twice as much as it took to get down from that level. So it's it's definitely a fight on volume to get back up to 200. So I could see this being just like a really strong bounce off of this $100 level, or close to the $100 level, which we've had bounces like that before. And then like I could see this just turning around and coming back down today. Um, I mean, I'd love it if we got some continuation. What are we looking for? A 5 minute. So let's check out the hourly. Yeah, so for coming up, probably gonna run into resistance at 210, which we kind of saw yesterday, and then some more at 225, and then a little bit at 230. So we need to clear those three levels of resistance if we're gonna look for a move back up to this $300 area. I am definitely more short biased on it right now, I would say. Just because it's been trending down for so many days. It had very high volume yesterday, but the significant volume to move it back up to $200. Um, it took a lot more volume than it took for it to get down. So it seems like people are selling into these higher levels, definitely more significantly. So yeah, I'm definitely more short biased on this. We'll see what it ends up doing. I thought so. Yeah, when I was leaving yesterday for work, so I watched it come up. It came up to 142, 143, double topped here. So when this double top happened and it started coming back down, I was like, all right, so we got the bounce back up to 140. I figured it was going to come back down and then try to make a run at $100. But you know, some really nice volume came into it, pushed up throughout the day, and this thing was just grinding higher all day. A really, really solid move. So we'll see if it does it again. I mean, definitely keep an eye out. I wasn't really paying attention to it at work at all yesterday, unfortunately, or else I probably would have bought some shares on it. But what are you gonna do? There's probably still opportunity to be had. Pre-market's been pretty weak on GME as of late, though, so I don't know if we're gonna get any kind of move on it until the market actually opens. I think that's more likely what's going to happen. And I would say there's really not too much going on this morning. EIQ coming back up a little bit. Let's move from $15 to $20. See if this starts. Let's see if this starts coming back up for some reason. Definitely try to take a trade on this if it looks like it's moving up. The news on it is like fairly odd. It's not really anything too meaningful. I think it was just like Chinese education stocks were moving up this morning for some reason. Unclear what that reason is, but they just were. So we'll see. God, the spreads on this are huge. As it was dropping here, the spread was like 1750 by 1880. The spread. My God. Yes, this is definitely one to be careful on. So now on the 1 minute, the breakup through 1928 is what we're looking for. If we see some volume coming back into it, kind of really low volume at the moment. If it starts coming back up, though, I'd be willing to take a trade on fairly light volume or fairly light shares. The spread's just insane right now. Spread 1835 by 1940. Insane spreads. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could take a trade on it with the spreads looking like this. It's pretty unfortunate. Someone seems to be holding it up at $19 though. Yeah, it looks like people are holding it up at 19. I don't have float volume on this, or yeah, I don't have like a float info on this. I don't know how many shares this stock actually trades. The volume is just so light, and the spreads are just so massive. I mean, I don't think I could take a trade on it. Just then, the spreads were like $19 by like $20.50, and then as soon as it went up to $20.50, it sold off through 19. So it's like, what's going on, Lunchbox? Man, fortunately, fairly uneventful morning this morning, thus far. Not really too much going on. I feel like if the pre-market starts being dead, more frequently, I'll probably have to push my stream off a little later. Not really too much to talk about. Yeah, I didn't even look. Yeah, how's the overall market doing this morning? Oh, so I mean, we rallied yesterday, definitely. I feel like this market cannot be kept down, dude. Insane. So highs 398 on SPY. Little bit of a downtrend right now. We'll see if today confirms it, but we're making lower highs, which you don't really want to see. If we come up and like break over 392 today, then we're looking good. Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree with you. It's like absolutely ludicrous that over the last year, look at this, dude. Over the last year, we hit SPY hit like 215, right? And then throughout a global pandemic, went from 215 to 398. It's just absolutely insane. Yeah, I mean we're definitely in a downtrend right now. We'll see how far that actually goes, though. Yeah, we had a little bit of a dip back here, but I mean, like, really, it's literally just been like a straight line up. The SPY 4 hour from December 20. We got. Where is December? Probably somewhere back here. Yeah, you right. Got some. Draw some lines here. Oh, the boy. We have like a bit of ascending support here on these lines. But now, I think now the problem is that we put in this high back here. We put in the high back here at 395. We kind of pulled back from the high. We're coming off these support. Um, we pulled back from the high, tapped off the support. You're coming back up, but the new high that we put in is by like such a minuscule amount. We put in like a $2 high. So the breakouts are getting smaller and smaller, and now it looks like we're getting a little bit of lower highs as we push down here. I guess yesterday in pre-market we pushed through the previous low, so starting to get a little bit of a downtrend. So where do you think you're going? We think we're going to 358. I'd be down. I'd be down to go to 358. I'd be down to drop a little lower than that maybe. So 358 is the bottom back here. Yep. The daily, how we looking? Oh, while I was talking, we had some stuff pop up. ATNF just went crazy while we were looking at SPY here. BHAT also popped up a little bit. So coming up on news at 7:45. Nuts. See where it holds up here. Looks like it's holding. My God. If it can drop down, I'll snag some shares all the way down right now. Dropping a bit. Man, the spread on this is also nuts. Oh, I got filled as it pushed down through 12. Oh. We'll see what happens here. I tried to buy on the bid, but it seems like we're pushing down. Ooh, man. So hold this for a minute. Look for a bounce off view up. We'll see how the next candle shakes out here. So I got 10 seconds to the next candle. Got 10 shares right now, sitting P high 1181. Right. So see how the next candle comes out. The next candle immediately drops. Then head out. Otherwise, look for so a lot of selling coming over $11. I'd love to see that. As we come up here, I'll probably take off half just to try to save myself a little bit. Didn't hit the level. Tried to buy on the. I tried to sell on the ask there. But it seems like it's struggling coming up over 11 right now. Yeah, it's pushing down. I take off half there. So ATNF was looking really, really strong. So tried to buy in with a few shares on the bid as it dipped down, but it went straight through my my order. God, that fill that I just got, what the hell? Okay, yeah, so it just like went straight through my order, and just like dropped like an entire dollar. So that's the way it goes with these sometimes. Um, when the spreads are really large, higher price stock, lower float. It's just the way it is. You always hate to see it when you see like this stock has gone up, like 100%, and somehow I managed to lose money on it. uh, that always hurts. All right, let's check out your doodling here. Keep up ATNF to see if it comes up. Upward tilted megaphone shape. I like it. This is a very fancy picture you've made here. Very nice. I hate bear markets. Please don't do this. Very nice. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Us dipping down a little bit, because I feel like coming into these highs, it's just like I want to invest in the broader market, but when it's been essentially pushing up for the last year straight, yeah, it's essentially everything's just been going in a straight line up for the last year. So it's like I feel like at this point, investing in the broader market is like there's going to be a drop at some point. Like things cannot continue this way forever. So I'd rather wait for the correction and then buy in than buy as it's coming into the highs. Yeah, everything is just absolutely insane right now. So ATNF, made a solid move up, but unfortunately, sounds like a good idea. ATNF unfortunately just not doing it for us this morning. Thing popped up like crazy. We missed the move, and we just got bopped on the way down. I just want, I just want everything to go down, and then on the way back up, when everyone's super excited to buy stuff again, then trading's gonna be great. That's all I want. I'm a simple man. I want to try to take a buy on ATNF here for the breakthrough VWAP, but let it sit. Immediately turned around. It's just the way that the low floats have been recently. I mean, like the first 2 days of this week were really solid, and last week was pretty solid as well. But the last 3 days or whatever, Wednesday, Thursday were pretty rough, and it seems like we're getting some of that today as well. Got GameStop in a little bit of consolidation right now on the 5 minute. So probably gonna have to break out of that pretty soon. We'll see which way it ends up breaking. Besides that, I mean, we'll keep watching ATNF, but I would say I don't have massively high hopes for it. Popped up really nicely and then just completely sold off. Quite unfortunate. BHAT also came up like while we were, looking at some of this other stuff. I need to put like a sound effect in from my scanners. So like even if I'm like looking at something else, it'll still just like bing me. So I gotta do that. Maybe I'll probably put that in this weekend, so I don't miss anything. Because I feel like a few times I've missed stuff where it's like I'm actively trading one thing and I'm like trying to like focus on it and look at all the stuff on it, and then uh, problem is I have like multiple different obviously monitors, so it's like I have like my active trading up in front of me. So like when I'm focused on that, I don't really see much else. I got my charts on the right, and then I have my scanners on the left here. So it's just too many monitors to look at and keep track of all at once. So yeah, I definitely need some audio cues so I don't miss anything on the scanners. So nothing popping up. Coming into 8 o'clock right now. Hopefully 8 o'clock will give us some more stuff to look at. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely don't have as much of that because mostly what I trade is lower float stocks that are like coming up on news. So it's like I obviously like can't set targets for those. um, and I generally don't trade like bigger companies that you would think would make nice moves. Which maybe I should start looking into at some point. I need to like yeah, I need to kind of like expand the stuff that I'm looking at, because I assume even in the morning there are probably like other things to be traded, or at least other things that we can like look at to potentially take trades on. Um, when the low float market is just in the dumpster as it is at the moment. Really, for a while, I mean, the stock was like GameStop, where it was like nothing else is going on, but GameStop is always going up. Even in the pre-market. But recently, GameStop's pre-market has just been absolute trash. Like it hasn't moved at all until the open. Definitely moves more in aftermarket than it does in pre-market. So ATNF looks like it's coming up a little bit again. Highest volume candle was this last green candle, which is nice. But we do have to remember that we were at 1475 fairly recently, so I might try to take some shares if it comes up through like 1050 right now. Let's see if it can hold above VWAP. Broke down through VWAP, so if it gets like bought up right now, and comes straight back up, then we could look for a nice trade as it comes above 1050. Uh, yeah. So now, by far the highest volume candle, and it's a red candle. So, stick a fork in it. I don't think this stock's going to be moving anymore. GameStop seems to be breaking out of its slight consolidation period to the downside. Like I said, I'm definitely more short biased on GameStop right now than I am long. After the, it's just like such a crazy bounce it made yesterday. And it made it on really high volume. But it's like it's good and bad. Made it on really high volume, but then when you look back here, as it fell on super light volume, and it took twice as much volume to get back up to 200 as it did to get down. So, it's somewhat concerning. So that's why I'm kind of thinking that this is probably going to take a dip today. It was a crazy bounce off 100 yesterday, though. Absolutely insane. Wish I had some shares, but unfortunately I was not holding anything. And we just passed 8 o'clock, and no stocks popped up. So, super, super boring morning. Quite unfortunate. I feel like I need to, in the future, I might, reevaluate whether I should start streaming at 7:30 based on, what's going on. Like, if absolutely nothing is happening like it is today, then maybe I'll start the stream a little later, wait for some stuff to start going on. Nice. Yeah, I did too. So, I took a ton of trades on GameStop in the late January when it came up. Um, and then I traded it some in February, when it was coming up again. But I would say that I was much less successful on the way up second time, just because the moves were, it did go quite straight up, but it's just it didn't really follow short-term technicals at all the second time around. Um, Pretty much every level where you're all right, so I'm buying, coming into 200, and I want to, hold down to the previous support level, which is at 185. Right, it's like a $15 swing. Uh, you need to hold. First of all, it's like if you're buying, you need to be able to hold a $10 swing down, right? And then so frequently, you'd be all right, so previous support level was at 185, and then it would drop straight through 185, go down another $3, completely blow through the support, but then bounce back up $20. And it's you already took a $15 dip, and the previous support level broke, so you have to follow the technicals and sell it, but it's just the thing comes back up immediately. So we got GHSI popping up right now. I'm gonna take some shares on it early, since it seems like taking shares on some of these stocks a little early has been paying off. I say this as this is the one stock that immediately drops. Classic, dude. We'll hold this down to VWAP. Um, you know, I'm willing to withstand a $2 loss. So, sell it off here. So, it's coming up. Try to take the trade on it. Didn't end up resolving. If we come back up above $3 now, it's still worth trying to take a trade on it. Lighter volume on this. So, I would say I'm not super confident this is going to make a move, but in the last 3 days we've seen stuff pop up, and essentially it's it pops up, it comes up for 2 minutes, and then pulls back the entirety of the move. So I'm gonna try to be like quicker on the trigger, buying into some of these tickers, looking for the fast move. Um, and then if it does pull back, then we'll look for an actual good setup. But try to get a little bit of profit on the table here. But yeah, GHSI really doing absolutely nothing. So yeah, so it's just like so anyway, yeah, like on GameStop, I mean it's just on the way up the second time, it's just brutal. And I like didn't feel super comfortable holding up the second time because I was like, as much as like Wall Street Bets is all like diamond hands, at any given point it could have just immediately dropped $100. So it's just like I don't know. I didn't love the risk on the way up, and like what happened here at 350 is like what I was expecting to happen pretty much the entire time it was coming up, where it went from 350 and then halved, like literally went down to 170. Just absolutely insane move. Yeah, so we'll watch it today. I'm interested to see if we get follow through on this move, or if this was just a massive bounce and now we're gonna get the pullback down. Oh, we shall see. I think it definitely needs to hold above 200 today. If it wants to continue making these moves. I have a feeling we're going to get a little bit of a dip today, though. Just my gut feeling. EEIQ all the way down right now. HCDI pulled back. MKD popped up a little bit earlier today, and it's actually popping up on like decent volume. I thought maybe this was going to make a move, but it just fell off completely. NEXT was pulled back pretty significantly from the move that it made. CLEU, same story. Yeah, it's just like for some reason, I like when I woke up this morning at like 6:30, it was like there was 4 stocks that had moved above 100%, and I was like, "What's going on?" It's like maybe today is going to be a great day. And then I looked at every single one of the stocks, and every single one of the stocks was like a Chinese education, like remote or like online education stock. And for some reason, every single one of them had gone up like 300%, and then like just pulled back all of their moves. So, quite confusing. Don't know why that happened. But I was really hopeful this morning, and I was like, whoo, stock's moving up. We're going to have a great day right now, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. So we're just waiting for that one stock today. That one stock to come up and save us. Yeah, and I definitely I mean if nothing really happens this morning, probably just be watching GME into the open. It's really the only thing that seems to be moving at all. And I'm interested to see if SPY drops back down today. Because, SPY holding above this level. Because now we're putting in, lower highs. If SPY breaks back above 392, then, we might see a little bit of a trend back up. But it keeps selling off right now. Maybe we're looking at a little bit of a dip. On the volume profile, you can see that significantly lighter volume coming down below 388. So if it starts dropping down through 388, I expect We'll drop further than that definitely. I guess looking at SPY is weird and looking at volume because it's not really super indicative of what SPY tracks. You know, it's like obviously it tracks like a majority of the market. So, but I don't know. I assume the majority of things that are trading the SPY are bots. So they probably have a pretty good idea of the volume and price action of everything else in the market. Pretty boring morning. See if or if GME comes below 193. It's like the next support level we should be running into. If it comes down below 193, we're looking for a little bit more of a move down. Everything else is just, it's all pulled back. I really wished ATNF would have held up. God, it made such a nice move. Just had to pull back on us. Thing went from $7 to $14.75. Now is back at $8.20. Hate to see it happen. Now it's dropping below 8. So yeah, this thing's definitely dead. There's no way this thing's coming back up. Let's see, GHSI was also coming up a little bit. So dead. HAT also dead. So yeah, not really, not really too much to talk about this morning. Really unfortunate here. Pretty shot pre-market, and I expect this is probably going to continue if the market continues trending down. Maybe we'll see less stuff pop up. So, yeah, like I said, probably going to reevaluate streaming at 7:30 if absolutely nothing is going on, since there's essentially nothing to talk about at this exact moment. How's your guys' morning going? If anyone's even in chat to speak. Guess we have slight hope that at 8:15 something can come up on news. I wonder if there are any reason. I wonder if there's any reason that GameStop popped up yesterday. I don't really see any relevant news. I guess the market was just looking better in general yesterday. It is going very slowly. I was literally just being like, probably reevaluate streaming at 7:30 in the morning if nothing is gonna go up. That is true. GME does do whatever it wants. I was watching it yesterday before I went to work, and I was just like, it's coming up. It like bounced off of, like 143, Yeah, so I was like sitting here watching this, and I was like, all right, bounced off of 144, 143. I was like, that was around where the previous, level of resistance was. So I was like, it's bouncing back down. I was like, maybe it's just gonna trend down for the rest of the day. I like go to work. I don't really look at GameStop at all yesterday. Thing just goes up like crazy. By the time like lunchtime rolls around, things at like 170. So just you really can't count on it to do what you think it's gonna do. I think I'm in the camp that I think GME is probably gonna go back down today a bit, since I mean essentially the uptrend yesterday was like a bounce off of 100. There was like no other news. It was just like GME had been trending down for a while, coming into like near $100, which was some previous support, and it just bounced literally $90 off 100. So it's quite the bounce. I would probably expect it to pull back down a little bit today. But I mean, really, besides GameStop, I mean, there's nothing to look at today. We had a few things that popped up. If you look at the scanners, EEIQ and WAFU, uh, are the leading gappers, but they popped up on like some weird Chinese education spike. I guess this morning. It doesn't look like there's any specific news, but this morning there were like five Chinese education stocks that all moved up like over 300%. And there's seemingly no reason why that happened. EEIQ is a recent IPO. It IPO'd yesterday. Um, and it went from, yesterday it traded, I don't even, let's see if we can see here. Yesterday it traded, I don't know, maybe 200,000 shares of volume. And then this morning, for some reason, it went from $3 to $70. um, so I feel like that's got to be some kind of manipulation thing. you know, like, what is this? like, what is this movement? At 425, it was at $5. At 440, it was at $70. I feel like there's really no justification for a move like that, especially when there's actually no news on the stock. So, I don't know what went on with that, but I was like so hyped when I woke up. I was like, ooh, stock market popping off. Got these low float stocks just going crazy right now. I was like, today's going to be a good day. And then I looked at every single one of the low float stocks in the scanners. It was like news: Chinese education stock, Chinese education stock, Chinese education stock. Yeah, dude, I don't trust them either. To be honest with you, I mean, there's already been issues with a bunch of them where it's like they're like unwilling to release, like any of the actual info from the company. There's been like several that have like scandals. There was like Lucan Coffee or whatever last year that for some reason like quadrupled in price, or 10x in price or something, and then it came out that the CEO or something was like under investigation or like actively in trial for like embezzlement or something. And then they halted the stock for like 2 months. So it was like if you just had bought shares of the stock, it's just like you couldn't get out. And then when it opened, the stock was at like 30 cents or something. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like they're more trouble than they're worth. And you never really know if like the information that's coming out from them is true because they're like, unregulated. I guess, the same could be said for a lot of companies in America probably. But at least there's like at least some semblance of oversight on those. Yeah, I mean it's just popped up, made me really excited. then I actually found out what the the reason for it was, and I was like, well, that's kind of a bummer, because they were the only things that were really up this morning, and now it's just like, now I've been sitting here since like whatever 7:30, and it's just nothing's going up. I missed the opportunity on ATNF here. So ATNF made a really nice move, but it made it so fast, and like, I was looking at my other monitor, just like looking at my charts, and I wasn't really like paying attention to my scanners, which is this weekend I'm gonna put an audio cue into my scanner so I can, like actually be aware of when stuff starts popping up. But I was looking at my scanners, or I was looking at my charts, and like by the time I came back and I looked at this, it was already at like $11, and I was like, all right, we had $11. Let me buy in. Like it came up to like 13 or something, dipped back down to 11 or 12, and I bought on like the bid here. Popped up a tiny bit, and then this candle literally just like flashed straight down to $10. So I lost like $10 on the trade. So not like a huge amount. $13 to be exact, if you want to be truthful about it. Um, but yeah, I just unfortunately missed this opportunity. And I think I'm going to try to be quicker on the buy, because recently we've had a lot of stocks pop up, and they essentially don't make a pullback, right? There's like no pullback. They put in like 3 green candles in a row. So this one put in like 4 big green candles in a row. And then after they put in the 4 green candles, it's dead. So it's like you either like take the opportunity immediately, or you can't take a trade on the stock. Um, and it's like one of those things where it's like, does the trade resolve enough? Like, does it put you in the profit enough times to actually even make it worth it to take the trade on that? Because we've seen a lot of stuff pop up, and after the first green candle ends up just completely falling off. So it's just it's hard. I need to compile some statistics on these low float stocks. I feel like I haven't done a good enough job actually, um, like looking through and seeing what price action, what volume amount actually yields like nice moves in these stocks. So maybe something I'll go through this weekend. Try to compile some more concrete information, on them. I save all of like the lists of movers for previous days on my from the scanners. So I just have like the list of movers for the last, I don't know, I guess couple months now. So I can go through each one that popped up between 7 o'clock and 9:30 in the morning, and just uh, do a little bit of analysis on them. See what kind of volume versus float ends up making for the most optimal trades to take. So GameStop just tapped this 193.50 level again. Uh, see if it breaks through. A little bit of volume coming in since 7:30. Really not anything too crazy. But I want to see if it holds this level, because if it breaks down through this level, then we're getting a little bit of a downtrend coming into the open. Yeah, I really need to do that, because there have been a bunch of times where I've just been distracted looking at charts, or like I'm actively taking trades on another stock, but something pops up that's a way better opportunity, and I just miss it because I'm trying to manage my trade on something else. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna definitely put an audio cue, because I've missed a lot of opportunities just because I wasn't actively looking at my scanners. And yeah, just you can't have that. Especially when some of these stocks, like the opportunity to make money on them is it's there and gone in a matter of 2 minutes. Or it's like I could easily be looking at my charts and talking about some technical levels on some other ticker that I'm looking at and spend 2 minutes doing that, like no problem, before I look at my scanners again. I always try to be looking at my scanners coming into like 7:30, 8:39. But today, ATNF I missed popped up at 7:45. So you usually see stuff pop up on news, on the hour, on the half an hour, but it can really pop up whenever. So have to be a little bit better about keeping an eye on those scanners. Yeah. For right now, I mean, we don't really have anything to watch. Everything that we were potentially watching has, dropped off the face of the earth. Guess I'm interested to see if EEIQ comes back up today. I don't love the catalyst on this, if you can call it a catalyst. Like literally, the catalyst is like people are interested in China-based education stocks. And I don't even know if that's like the real catalyst. It looks like someone just a few people probably just decided to buy a ton of it this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning for some reason. Unclear why. Um, but I think EEIQ might have some staying power just because it's a recent IPO. So people might be more interested in trading it since now, I guess, well, to be fair, on the 5 minute, um, now the all-time high is $70. It went from $3 IPO yesterday to $70. But the gap between $20 and $70 is on super, super light volume. So this can easily be filled in. So if people start buying this into the open, like if people sit down at 9 o'clock and they're like, well, this thing's up nearly 400% even now, even though it pulled back all of this. It's a massive move from $70 to $19. It's technically still up 380%. So if people start sitting down at 9 o'clock, 9:30, and they're like, this thing's at, 400% increase, and hit $70 this morning, like people might be willing to buy back into it. And it's a recent IPO, so people always love recent IPOs. So yeah, I think EIQ is definitely going to be one to watch today. I mean, I don't necessarily know if it's going to come back up, but I think if it does start coming back up, this thing could go wild. So I'll probably watch that coming into the open. I think GameStop's the other obvious one to watch into the open after yesterday. Just went absolutely crazy yesterday. We'll see what it ends up doing today. We are coming into 8:30. We got a minute 15 seconds. So keep your eyes on the scanners. 8:30. See what we get. I think this is going to be another one of those mornings where if nothing really seems to be going on by 9 o'clock, if we come to 9, nothing really pops up on news, probably cut the stream a little early. Just because it has been such a slow morning. We've had a few things pop up on the scanners, but really nothing that's like tradable for any extended period of time. ATNF is the best thing we've seen pop up, and there was like a 2-minute window to trade it. So, not really super what I'm looking for. I know there are a bunch of people who are like really into just like the scalp trading, like, buy in quick with a lot of shares, get out quick. Like, I am kind of the I'm definitely still working on a shorter time frame, but not on the order of like seconds. I feel like that doesn't work very well with TD's execution speed or Thinkorswim's execution speed. All right, hit 8:30. See if we got anything coming up on the scanners. Doesn't look like anything has popped up yet. Got GameStop coming back down, taking another run at 193. Alright, so MX just popped up. No, not MXL, stop. Oh, whoa. Very high priced stock here. Um, Magnachip enters into merger agreement. Huh. So I have a feeling that this news is going to be one of those things where it's essentially just going to be like priced in at a certain price. Yeah, so it says anyone holding this is going to receive $29 in cash per share. And why is it at $27 right now? Like that's weird. I would say that I would say it's very odd that it says Magnaship shareholders to receive $29 in cash per share, but it's not sitting at $29. Um, but then again, I feel like maybe I'm missing something. I would say that if this thing really was locked in at $29, people would probably have bought it up to exactly $29. You know, we've seen stuff like that happen pretty frequently. Um, I feel like it's the kind of thing where it's like, it says that, but maybe it doesn't actually mean that exactly. We'll see what it ends up doing here, though. We'll give it a second. It seems to be coming down. Nothing else came up on news at 8:30, so this is really the only thing we got. I wonder how that works when you own shares in a company, that gets acquired or something. Since I've never actually been holding shares of a company after it's merged with another company or been bought out by another company. I wonder if it's just essentially just your shares get you know liquidated at whatever price it is and then just credited back to you. Yeah, it seems like that's probably the most likely scenario. Yeah, so MX seems like it's just going to be chilling at whatever price it's at right now. It doesn't look like there's going to be too much movement going on with it. Um, EEIQ has dropped a little bit, so sitting a little bit lower than it was before. GameStop still hovering, down near this 193 level, so not really too much going on right now. ATNF, still dropped off from where it was. Seems to be coming back up a little bit right now. We have some volume coming into it at 8:30, so this up over here on the 5 minute. So now on the 5 minute we have the highest volume we've had so far on ATNF. But seems to be struggling a little bit near VWAP right now. So definitely need to give this a second to see if it can come up and hold above VWAP. A little extended, on the 5-minute. Just made a pretty large move up. But, did do it on pretty nice volume. So might be signs of life here on ATNF after, not really doing too much for the last 45 minutes. I'd like to see it come up above VWAP and then, come back down and hold these levels a little bit. So it really just made the first break through VWAP just now. Looking good on the 1-minute. Like to see it come back down, maybe tap off of it, maybe dip just below it, and then we'll take some shares on the way back up. Since, we did put in quite a big move in this last 5-minute candle. But we'll give it some time. We'll see what it decides to do here. Right, so pulling back a little bit. So quite a big, well, I wouldn't say it's super big, but a little bit of a wick right now on this red candle. This candle is going to be highest volume candle of the day. So I'm going to buy a couple shares here, since it just, it pulled back, had a big wick, but then, got bought up on pretty decent volume coming back up. So buy a few more shares. Cost base is a little high, unfortunately. Don't love this cost basis. And now it's turning around a bit. So we're going to let this come down to at least VWAP here, 925. Yeah, so exits are going to be VWAP for the bailout point here. First price target is probably going to be upwards of 1050. Just because it made such a big move prior that I would expect it to fill some of that in, especially because it came down on a little bit lighter volume than it's coming up right now. Morning, Shamshire. How's it going? It's been a pretty slow morning, I'd say. So yeah, we already we took a losing trade on this morning. Because we took a trade on the move back here on the 1-minute, so it came down. We bought off like high 11s and expecting a push back up, and it just dumped on us. So yeah, took a rough one this morning, but looking for the move back up right now. But it's struggling holding above 50 a little bit here. Yeah, I'm gonna sell off half here at least, just because we would have liked to have seen a more clear break. I'm gonna still hold half. So now if we start coming up above 965, probably a place to buy. And then we'll hold this down to 925. Yeah, I do use level 2, but Thinkorswim's level 2 is kind of questionable. Yeah, the 5-minute chart. So the problem with running based on the 5 minute chart on something like this is like on the 5 minute, uh, you could drop back down to $8.30, like a full dollar drop, and it still looks good on the 5 minute. So it's like you need to be willing to, hold through a massive pullback if you're trading off of the 5 minute. So yeah, we just dropped through view up, and we're dropping pretty significantly. So take off the shares that I had right here. If we start coming back up through view up now, so now if we like push over $9.20, I'll buy back in. But yeah, so that's really my main problem with trading on the 5 minute on something that's so volatile. Is just like you need to be able to withstand a lot of pain. So I took off half as we were above, as we were here above 950, just because it was looking really weak to me. We were struggling to break over this 966 level, 965 level. We had pushed up through 950 a few times, and we're getting sold off into it. So because it was looking so weak, I took off half. Within 30 seconds of me taking off half, it dropped another 40 cents. So if I was trading solely based on the 5 minute, I would have bought for this break over, 935, 940. And then on the 5 minute, you need to be able to hold down to 825. So I would say that I am unwilling to hold through a full dollar pullback with size, with like any amount of size that I would be trading in. So back here I got hit with a full dollar pullback on the 1 minute. I bought closer to 12, and then it immediately dropped down to like 1050. And that's definitely not what you want to have happen. Unfortunately, in Thinkorswim, it's very difficult to get out when stuff starts going against you. You just keep on trying to sell at the bid, but I feel like half the time you try to sell at the bid, it just slips past you. So now, on the 1 minute, buying above 885 looks good, but I would say because we came up over VWAP and we couldn't hold it, I would want to see a 5 minute setup to buy into this. I'm unwilling to take a 1 minute setup on. So like there's like multiple ways. Obviously, this graph can be interpreted. Some people could think that we just came up through VWAP, we pushed down, and now we're gonna retest VWAP on the way up. No, so I sold on the bid, but selling on the bid, it can still slip past you just because the execution speed of Thinkorswim is not spectacular. So you can hit the bid and you just won't get filled, and then it could drop and generally speaking, when you don't get filled, it means that the price has dropped since you hit the bid button. So you hit the bid, try to hit the bid, you don't get filled, it drops another 10 cents, and then you have to sell, and you lost 10 cents just because your execution speed. So it happens sometimes. There's not really a whole lot that you could do about it. It's also why Thinkorswim is not scalable if you want to take higher volume trades, in the pre-market at least. Generally speaking, most of the time, if you're buying on the bid or the ask, on a lot of these stocks, they might only have like 200, 300 shares sitting on the bid or the ask at any time. So if you're like a trader who takes 500 share size for their trades, like you'll try to buy on the ask, and you might only get filled at 200 shares, and then it'll just go straight past you, and then it's just like there's no good way in Thinkorswim to be able to buy on the bid or the ask with large share size. It's just not possible. So once you have higher share size, if you're trading these more volatile stocks, like you pretty much need to move to a better broker. But I'm not quite at that point yet. So I'll stick with my Thinkorswim, just not getting filled. Um, so anyway, as I was saying, we came up through view up once back here. So if we look at the 1 minute here, we came up through view up once. Failed. Then we consolidated below view up for quite a while. Came through view up just now again, and then failed hard back down. So now that we've come through view up twice, and we've failed both times. Right. So I am definitely less confident that this trade I'm going to take on a 1 minute setup is actually going to break us over view up and hold. So I want to wait for a 5 minute setup to actually take a trade on this. And even so, right now, on the 5 minute, the 5 minute setup is at 922, which is view up. So I don't love buying at exactly view up, because that's generally when people start selling off, like when you're coming into view up. So I'm gonna wait for probably a different 5 minute setup that isn't focused on view up to take a trade on it. Nice. Yeah, I've not been trading for very long either. So just been watching lots of people do it. I think streaming is a good way to try to keep to your plan, because like when when people ask you why you're buying at certain points or selling at certain points, like you need to be able to explain yourself. And I think that the act of explaining yourself kind of keeps you focused on what you should be doing, so you don't end up taking a whole bunch of trash trades just because. Yeah, so we're bouncing off view up a little bit again on ATNF. I mean, I was hoping here it would just break straight through and we'd start coming back up. Maybe retest $11. Unfortunately, didn't end up happening. So we're just gonna have to wait to see. Maybe we get another setup on this. Yeah, on the 5 minute, still 5 minute. Setup is pretty much completely aligned with view up. So yeah, just buying into VWAP like as it's at VWAP is probably not super advisable. Just because when you're coming in from VWAP from below, that's when everyone is looking at selling. It's like we're coming into VWAP, all the short sellers are like, nice, we're gonna take this bounce off VWAP back down. So they put on a new position as they come back into VWAP, or they put on more shares coming into VWAP. So we'll wait to see if we get a break up through VWAP. Ooh. Otherwise, we're just gonna be chilling. Wait for something to pop up on the scanners. Maybe we just passed 8:45. Nothing popped up. I'm interested to see if MX sorted itself out here. Yeah, I find it very strange. I'm gonna need to figure out what's going on with this. So MX literally came out on news saying that they were being acquired for $29 a share. So I feel like every other time that I've seen things come up on news and say this, essentially what happens is that like bots buy it up immediately and then they just pin it at exactly $29 a share, because that's what they're getting bought out for, and that's what each share should be worth, when the money is given to the shareholders. So I find it very strange that it's now sitting at $26.50 and not $29, which is like making me like afraid to buy this, because I feel like right now it's like, if this thing is being acquired at $29 a share, like how is it not just at $29 a share? So I might miss an opportunity to make money on this, but I'm interested to see how this shakes out. I'm going to keep an eye on this probably throughout the day to see if it ever gets up to $29 a share. I'm just interested at this point. I feel like it's acting differently than what I would expect. So ATNF broke above VWAP. Let's see if it can come back up to this 965 level, or if we're gonna get sold off. So a little bit higher volume on this candle. Which is good. Nice to see. Seems to be selling off a little bit. Still, I mean, this would have been a nice trade to take here on the 1 minute. You know, even though I wasn't like super, obviously super confident in this. Taking this trade here up above 888, then holding through all of this, it's up, 60 cents now. So could have been a decent trade if someone took the 1 minute buy on that. I didn't do that just because I don't love the way that it looks. I would have liked to have seen at this breakthrough VWAP like some follow through and then an immediate break up through 965. The fact that it's kind of sitting just above VWAP again, which is kind of what it did back here, is slightly concerning. So we'll see if we get the sell down through VWAP. It just poked through VWAP for a second there, but immediately got bought up. See if it actually sells straight through. That seems like it's getting bought up off VWAP. Definitely better than it was last time. So now on the 1 minute, the buy is over 940. The 5 minute breakout is above 954. I'm gonna buy 5 shares here. Looking for the push up through 940. I'm gonna keep my stop pretty tight though. Struggling a little bit coming up through 940, which is what we saw back here on this other 1 minute candle. Yeah, so just coming back down now. We'll see if it gets bought up off VWAP. But I liked this this 1 minute candle. So 1 minute candle with ended green and had a really quite a big tail, which is a positive indicator. It means that we pushed into VWAP and got bought up. But as I say this, we now are pushing straight down through VWAP. So I took smaller share size on this, so not too much of a loss. I was hoping we get the push up through 940, and then I can add on more share size for the 5 minute breakout, which didn't end up happening. Still holding. It seems to have gotten bought up a little bit. It's not completely dropping off. And then as I say that, it did. So cut that trade there. Ended up losing like another $2 on that. So yeah, this is kind of why you have to be careful. I was looking for the break above 940 right here on the 1 minute, and then this was the previous 5 minute high, 953. So we took a bounce off VWAP. We ended with a green candle with a nice tail, and then we started pushing up through 940. So buying into 940, and then if we pushed up through to 953 for the 5 minute breakout, then I would have added on position there. Didn't end up happening, but oh, look at this. We are coming back up. Alright. Well, definitely missed that trade. Wow. I'm surprised it dropped so hard through VWAP and then got bought up like this. Very surprising. I would have expected the break to have happened, right after this green candle when it was looking really strong. Instead, like, it was looking much weaker here, and it immediately got bought up, which is crazy. Yeah, so now we kind of have to wait, obviously, because we missed a buying setup here. Let's get rid of some of these lines. So by far, highest volume candle in the last, I mean, in the entire day. By far the highest volume candle. So that's definitely positive. We'll see how these next few candles shake out, though. So we just started a new 5-minute candle. We'll wait for a second here to get see if we get a little bit of a pullback. I would expect there to be some resistance coming back down into 964, or some support rather, just because we bounced off of this a few times here, and it was a pretty hard point of support for us. So the fact that we broke through it, it should be quite strong support right now. We'll see if we start coming down through these levels. Yeah, got it. So it broke down through 964, got bought up, but this stock's just acting like it's just trading really, really choppy right now. Pushing up. So the 5-minute breakout is above, 990, so it did push above it. I mean, I just don't love the way this is trading at the moment. I feel like this stock at any moment could turn around and drop $1. So probably want to wait for a little bit of a pullback on this to actually buy into it. It's just not acting as sane as I want in a in a stock that I'm gonna buy here. We're coming back up. Broke through this, previous resistance coming up into $10. Now, if we do push up, closer to 11, that's going to be the next big point of resistance on the 5-minute. On the 1-minute, yeah, 1090 going to be it. Should hit a little bit, yeah, 1020, which is what we bounced off of just now. So that makes sense. We hit a little bit of resistance there. And this 5-minute candle putting in really crazy volume. And we still have 2.5 minutes on it. So this 5-minute candle is going to be by far the highest volume candle of the day, which is good to see. The last green candle was a high volume candle, but still we had a higher volume red candle previously. So it's good that now the highest volume candle of the day is going to be a green candle. So looking really nice on the 5-minute. It's still struggling to push over 1020 here. Looks like at 1020 there's 5,000 share seller, something like that, which isn't too significant. So I think it wouldn't have as hard of a time breaking through 1020 as it is right now. So a little bit of a sell-off. On the 1-minute, it holding above 960, 965 is still looking okay. On the 5-minute, it can run. I mean, really, it needs to hold above VWAP. Because on the 5-minute, I mean, it running down to like 9 is still okay, since that's the low of the previous candle. But that's below VWAP, so we want it to hold above VWAP at the moment. So quite a bit of a pullback. I'm tempted, if it pushes up above $10, to take some shares on this right now. Yeah, it seems to have dropped, but it's getting bought up. See if it pushes over $10 here, or if we continue to get a little bit more of a pullback. Also, we're coming into 9 o'clock right now. So 30 seconds to the 9 o'clock candle starting. So now this is problematic. Highest volume candle of the day, um, by a significant margin on the 5 minute, and it seems to be closing red. But we spiked up at the last minute, looking good. So now highest volume candle of the day, and it essentially closed even. Like, it didn't really do much. It closed lower than the 5 minute high of the last candle, which is not super great. But it seems to be pushing up. We got 8,000 share seller at $10, which again isn't super significant. I expect with the volume that it's pushing, it should be able to break through. Yeah. It's just, yeah, I don't love the way that this stock is trading. It just looks, yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't really look that great to me. So now the breakout in the 5 minute is going to be above 1020. I don't know if I'd be willing to buy into this. The fact that it's coming up like this and just having like these big, big spikes after buying. Like I said, this last 5 minute candle was the highest volume candle of the day by a pretty significant amount, and it essentially closed even. And until like the very last seconds of the candle, it was red. So it's just, yeah, it's just not looking, it's not looking spectacular. The problem is earlier this morning it was up at 1475, and now it's at 995. So there's gonna be a ton of people holding from up here who are just like waiting to sell into it, and there's gonna be a ton of people who are just waiting to short it. So it's gonna be a rough road for this thing to push back up. As far as other stuff, GameStop's come back up to 200 again. So looking all right. If it comes back up above 202.50, then putting a little bit of a higher high, which is nice. Nothing else popped up at 9 o'clock on the scanners. RAIL just popped up, but it's no volume, so not something that I'm going to trade. Right, ATNF pushing back up to that 1020 level. See, look at this. Thing pushed up to 1020, and then immediately dropped 60 cents. So it's just, it's not something that's, I don't know, it's not something to me that's tradable. It's like essentially, gambling at this point, and a lot of the, like if you try to put in stops, right? Like if you're like looking at the 1 minute, the last low, the stop was 968. So it just blew past 968. It might bounce up now, but I mean, if you're following your plan, like you should have sold if it broke down through that level. If you're holding and it breaks down through this, then you're essentially just, praying that it goes back up. So it's just, yeah, to me, untradeable. If you have, a certain plan that you're trying to follow, and you see a stock, I took a few shots on this. I'm down $18 on it right now. If you take a few shots at it and the thing does not follow, the technicals that you usually trade off of, like if you have specific levels that when it breaks through here, I take a trade. When it drops through here, I take off my position. And the stock is clearly not following it, even if it's going up, it's just not worth trading because you're just going to get chopped out. So it's worth it to just wait until you find stocks that are trading off of the technical levels that you trade off of as well, and it's actually following the rules that you set, and then you could take trades on that. Even if it's not going up as much, if it's following the system that you follow, then you should be able to take positive trades. Yeah, to me, if I'm trying to trade off of levels on this, I'm just gonna get wrecked. You can trade off of the 5 minute on it, and the 5 minute has looked okay, but it's another one of those things where it's like if you're buying into a level, um, you need to tolerate. So like if you bought into on the 5 minute back here into 930, you probably can't see because my 5 minute chart is messed up. But if you're buying into this level back here at 930, pushes up 960 and then pulls all the way back down to 850. So you have to like tolerate that dollar pullback on the 5 minute. And I'm just unwilling to do that. So maybe trading on the 5 minute is the way to go with this. You could take share size that's appropriate for trading the 5 minute on this. But I'm probably not going to take any trades on it. GME going into space right now though. So it's pushing back up. So it looks like the Robinhood boys coming in at 9 o'clock, putting a pretty good bump on it. On the hourly, how are we looking? So that's a good sign on the hourly. I mean, obviously this pullback isn't great, but it's consolidating in a tighter range, pushed down towards the bottom of that range, and is now breaking out up. So looks generally positive for GameStop today. At least for the start of the day coming into the open. We'll see if it can hold it coming into the open, but right now it looks alright. Yeah, nothing too much going on right now. So, yeah, I don't love usually, trading into the open, especially there's nothing really I'm watching right now that I'm super, willing to trade into the open. And I don't really foresee anything, popping up. I'll keep an eye on the scanners and stuff, but probably cut the stream today. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys made some money. I obviously didn't. I'm down $18 on the day. The only trades I took, well, I'm down $20 on the trade on the day. I took a trade on GHSI as well that I lost $2 on, and then I lost $18 on ATNF. So down on the day, unfortunate. But can't avoid losing trades. It's just the way it is. I'm gonna try to. I'll watch ATNF coming into the open to see if people start jumping on it and buying it up. And if it starts making more clear moves, maybe I'll take a trade on it. But I don't foresee me taking a trade on it before 9:30. I want to come into 9:30 and see this thing actually start making a move back up to its pre-market highs. And then yeah, I'll be watching GME obviously. So those are the two I'm watching today. So hope you guys have a good trading day. I hope everyone makes money, and I will see everyone tomorrow. Peace.